Yo, what's up, good people? Look, we're gonna hop right into this. Dear developer. Now, if you had the privilege of checking out the last episode of Dear Developer, then you see that I talked about the importance of making a plan. And while making a plan for your life sets you up for success down the road. And I based it all on King Richard. So in this episode, I wanted to sort of outline my technique for taking your ideal scenario of where you see yourself in 1, 5, 10 years, and how do we take that and extract from that actionable things that we can go towards so that we can accomplish our ideal scene. So first of all, first thing you have to do, this is what I want you to do. I want you to think of 5 years from now. Let's go with that timeline. What does your life look like in 5 years? Take a moment. Envision it, right? Conceptualize. What are you doing? How are you spending your days, your hours, your minutes? What do you drive? What does your house look like? What are your activities? What are your hobbies? What are your passions? And write out every single aspect. The sky is the limit. Like, don't limit yourself. Put it all down. Once you feel like you've gotten a great snapshot of what your future is going to look like, then revisit it. And I want you to pull from it. Take audit. What are the things that are currently? Hopefully none of those things are current. If a couple of them are, then great. You're on the road to getting to your ideal scenario. But there's probably, for the most of us, a huge section of that is going to be not yet accomplished, right? To be done. And so find the things that are nuggets, that are milestones, and I want you to pull those out. Once you pull those out, those become the goals, right? And then the next thing you need to do is, I want you to take these individual goals and find out how do you make those SMART. SMART is an acronym in the goal setting world. It stands for you want your goals to be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. So that way, when we look at our goals, we want to be specific as to what we want, right? Because if you don't ask for it, you're not going to receive it in the way that you want it. So you want to be specific. You want it to be measurable. You want to be able to look back and see over a time frame, you're slowly tracking to attaining whatever this goal is. You want it to be realistic. It can't be a fantasy world. It has to be something that you can actually attain. Realistic and attainable goes together, and time bound, right? This can't be forever. 5 years is our timeline overall, but maybe you think that you can get this done in 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever it is. Put some time restriction around it that gives you the ability to go throughout the next year and then come back and reassess. Did I accomplish this? How many parts of this did I accomplish? Once you have that statement, right? Here's my goal. Then the next step is to take that goal and think about, where am I currently in life? And what steps do I need to put in place to get to this goal? Because a goal is just a bunch of mini steps to get to that thing. So we got to figure out what those mini steps are, or those tasks are, so that we can attain the greater goal. And then last but not least, make it happen. Start at step 1 and do the thing. Here's an example that I did a while ago. So I had this plan. I wanted to get my personal savings over $10,000 by the end of the year, right? So is it specific? I want to get my personal savings to $10,000. Is it time bound? By the end of the year. Is it attainable? $10,000 is very attainable. It's realistic, right? I have to put the things in place to make it happen. Now, what are the steps that I take to get to that ultimate goal. So here are my steps. First of all, at that time, I didn't have a savings account. That's step one. That's easy, right? Doesn't take any money. Well, maybe it take a couple of dollars, depending on the bank you choose. But step one, get myself a savings account, specifically separate from my checking, right? And what I meant by that for me personally was I wanted my checking account to be with one bank and my savings account to be with another, because I know myself. And I know that if I go over in my checkings, if they're in the same bank institution, they're just going to draw from my savings. So I wanted those two to be separate. That way, out of sight, out of mind, in a sense, I can build up over there and not thinking about touching that nest egg. So that was my first step, set up a savings account. Secondly, I just broke down the math. Like, what does it mean? And how much could I realistically set aside to achieve this goal? Well, I knew that I could comfortably save up $500 out of every paycheck, or maybe every month, right? I could set aside $500 to go directly to my savings. And then doing a little bit of math, like I said, after 20 cycles, $500 per paycheck becomes $10,000. So 20 paychecks. What's that? 10 months? There we go. Just shy of my year. If I'm getting paid bi-weekly, I would reach my goal. And so when I look back and I see how simple it sounds, right? Because just saying I need to get my savings over $10,000 is crazy, right? It can seem like a number that I am not going to reach when I start to think about the bigger picture and the bills that I have and the lifestyle that I want to live and the luxuries that I am experiencing and the outings and all those things, right? When I take all those things into account, it's like there's no way in the world I'm going to be able to save $10,000. But when I break it down to 3 easy steps, it makes it a little bit more attainable. Set up a savings account. Take audit of my current expenses and my current income. How much can I realistically afford to put to the side? And if that means I need to cut back on some other things, then I need to make those adjustments, because now I have a North Star. That's $10,000. And then lastly, do some simple math. Calculate it. If I did $300, if I did $500, if I did $1,000, how long would it take me to get to this $10,000? And then that may mean that if I can afford less, then I may need to readjust my initial goal. And maybe I push it, just a little bit past a year. Or maybe I stick to that year and I find other income to bring in so that I can supplement this. Whatever it is, this is me showing you how the system works and how the system can work for you. You take your ideal scene, you break it down into individual goals that are smart, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-bound. You take that goal, you research, you take audit of yourself, whatever you need to do, and you carve out what are the steps I need to take to accomplish this thing. And then last but not least, you go out and do it. You start at step 1 and follow the steps. And hopefully you make it to that point. And if not, then you can see clearly where your opportunities are and reassess. I hope that helps somebody. In the meantime, in between time, deuces.